Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
beautiful images here on a beautiful springtime morning as we welcome you to La Pista Sette Laghi Castelletto di Branduzzo for round 3 of the WSK Open Series. Great to have your company watching us live on wsk.it and also for our viewers watching all around the world on Motorsport TV as well. We had a tremendous downpour. There was a thunderstorm. The track was absolutely flooded in free practice on Wednesday. Just in the background there is still snow which fell during the past few days on the hilltops. They're not even high mountains. It was freezing cold, soaking wet. But as you can see, this morning on the 16th day of April, the sun is shining, the track is dry, and we are ready to race the first of our 5 pre-finals here this morning. This is round 3 of the 2023 WSK Open Series from Castelletto di Branduzzo, La Pista Sette Laghi. Around about 1 hour south of the northern Italian city of Milan. A beautiful morning, winter is well and truly in the past, despite the fact you can just make out above or behind the track image the snow in the background in the nearby hilltops, on the nearby countryside, on the top of the hills, which is quickly, rapidly melting. In a few moments, the first of our pre-finals for the 60 mini under 10 category. Coming out on the grid, or leading the grid out, will be Leo Gorski from pole position alongside the Australian Sebastian Escandari, who was unlucky at the previous round of the championship 2 weeks ago at Cremona when he came together with the Portuguese driver Xavier Lazaro. They both retired. They're looking to make amends here this morning in round 3, the penultimate round of the WSK Open Series. So the karts come out onto the circuit now. We'll take a look at the grid for you. 35 karts to take the start here. The 10-lap 60 mini under 10 pre-final here at La Pista Sette Laghi. The grid looks like this. Gorski, the pole on pole, alongside Sebastian, the Queenslander, and the championship leader, Antoine Fanon. Alexander Laganki, Nicole Perigold, the Kleine Cooper, Michele Orlando, Tom Truschel, and Nikita Botte in the Lenzo car. John Hahn, who was superb in qualifying, alongside Lucas Palacio on debut. The American in WSK has had a brilliant run so far at Sette Laghi. Lazzaro, Rovelli, Mason Robinson, Carlucci, Gianni Frick, Waltz, and Achille Ray. That's Drew Waltz, along with his younger brother Devon Waltz, Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio, Malo, Maximus Ung back in 23, Malotto, who was so quick in the heats, Diari Schlami, Lumet, Pezzuto, Tiberius Muller on debut is the German, Yunu Park, and another German, that's Sophie Guth. For the Kiddix Driver Academy, Rolandage, DDF, Davide Di Filippo, the Roman together with Daniel Hakkinen, Giuseppe Prozzo, Daniela Verba, the Russian Cup champion from 2021, and the final grid position. What a beautiful morning. You can see the flowers are blooming. That's just in the past few days here. It was just green grass a few days ago under black skies. As you look at the pole, on pole position, his name is Leonardo Gorski. For the Brescian Baby Race team, there's Sebastian, the Queenslander, in the Vortex-powered Tony car, took the final heat victory yesterday. And the Australian starts out of grid 2. Antoine Fanon is the championship leader. 5.72 in the DAP. We've lost one of the CRGs. It is Yanni. You can just see the car parked at the out on the infield, and he's out before the start. Gorski leads them up to the... It's bad luck for Antonio Yanni. The 628 CRG car parked on the infield, and he's out before the start. Mason Robertson also desperately trying to catch up to the back of the pack. The Scottish Spaniard, late to leave pit lane, the team driver in 6.39, catching up to the back of the pack, and he will do so as Gorski leads the field out of the Lakeside hairpin on the second formation lap. Antoine Fanon, of course, racing the DAP kart. This was just a few moments ago. No start. Another formation lap of the 1,256 metre Sette Laghi circuit. Of course, Antoine Fanon in the DAP, racing in the memory of the late, great Angelo Perilla, who sadly passed at the age of 77 years. A colossus in our sport just 48 hours ago. Our sincere condolences to the family of Angelo, a man who touched so many over the past few decades, and of course brought us the famous name which is DAP. On the second row of the grid with the championship leader, Antoine Vernon. Gorski on pole position. We don't race once again. Yet another formation lap. I can see our race director, Alessandro Ferrari. He's about to wave the sportsmanship flag to the leaders to the left of your screen. Just off screen. There's Marco Carlino, assistant race director. Furiously signalling to the drivers on the front few rows of the grid to keep it in order, and also our chief steward, Mr. Oronzo Di Bari, making his way down to the start finish line as well. This is round 3 of the WSK Open Series for 2023. Henri Kumpen 5.49 and Antoine Vernon, the Belgians, who finished 1 and 2 in the opening round of the championship. 2 weeks ago at Cremona, the race was taken out by Michele Orlando, who won it from Achille Ray and Albert Tam. The 60 Mini under 10 pre-final here this morning. A beautiful spring day at Castelletto di Branduzzo, La Piste Sette Laghi. Gorski 5.11 for Team Baby Race. The pole on pole. That's Sebastian 5.24, the Australian in the Tony Kart. This time we race. Superstart from Escandati around the outside. Tries to slot into position. Antoine Vernon puts the DAP up into position 2, but it is Gorski from pole position who has got the lead from the Belgian, from the series leader, Antoine Vernon. Sebastian Escandati in the Vortex-powered Tony Kart. Good start from the Queenslander, goes position 3 as they go racing down the back straight for the first time. Sideways at the end of the back straight goes Gorski, takes a wide line, he leaves the door open, and Vernon goes up the inside. Sebastian follows him on through. And now he's going wheel to wheel with the first of the team driver karts. Alexander Legenki, the Ukrainian who won the WSK Champions Cup. Gorski back in the lead. Now Vernon's on the outside. Tucks into second place. Great start by Henri Kumpen. That is the second Belgian in P4. The first Belgian is in position 2. He's the championship leader. His name is Antoine Vernon. Sideways down through turn 1 goes Gorski. Vernon, Escandati. There's Kumpen right behind him. Alexander Legenki and Niccolò Perico. The first Italian, the second is right behind him. That's the race winner from Cremona 2 weeks ago, Michele Orlando in the Formula K karts. The race settles down into a rhythm. The far hairpin on this 1,256 metre circuit. This is Pista Sette Laghi, 1 hour south of Milan in the north of Italy. The sun is shining. It is springtime. Winter is over. And the pole, who started on pole position, leads from the Belgian, who is the championship leader, Antoine Vernon. Sebastian Escandati looks good, does the Australian, as he looks over his right shoulder. Back to the WSK Champions Cup winner for team driver from Ukraine. It is Alexander Legenki. Here is Perico. He's been passed now by Orlando. The Formula K goes up into position 5. Legenki with a 54.716, fastest driver on the circuit. Sebastian down the inside. The Australian passes the Belgian into turn 3. Nicely done by Escandati. There is Michele Orlando trying to bridge the gap to the first 4 in the Formula K kart. Right behind him is Niccolò Perico. Also took a heat win as Sebastian under brakes. Vernon follows him through, and the boy from the land down under goes position 1 in the pre-final. Takes the wide line as Legenki takes the championship leader now. Antoine back into 4th place. There is Orlando behind him. Sebastian Escandati in the Vortex-powered Tony Kart, position 1 with a 54.547, the fastest driver on the circuit. Sebastian Escandati taking pole position at Franciacorta in the WSK Supermaster Series. Was unlucky after leading the final at Cremona in round 2 of the Open Series 2 weeks ago. As we said in our introduction, will be vulnerable here as Gorski goes down under brakes and takes him. Sebastian coming together with Xavier Lazzaro in the dying stages of the final. They both ended up in the grass with no result. But now the Australian on the outside of the pole, the Ukrainian, that is Alexander Legenki, pushes Eskandari out onto the ripple strip, but the Tony Kart driver holds his own, runs a bit wide, but he's got track position. We start lap 5, Vanont down the inside, and there is Orlando behind him, Albert Tam, who was on the podium 2 weeks ago in round 2 at Cremona. The order at the bottom of your screen, it's changing virtually every corner. Sebastian closes up on the back of Leonardo, who was on the podium, of course, in the WSK Supermasters Series. That Sano taps the helmet. So let's make an intelligent race out of this. We'll see Sebastian plays ball with the pole. Baby race, P1, team driver, P3, split by the Vortex-powered Tony Kart of the Queenslander, the two-time Australian champion. Looks right, looks left. And the WSK Champions Cup winner, Alexander Legenki, who won the first race of the 18th season of WSK promotion on a freezing cold day, the 29th of January to start the year. He's right there as well, ranges up as Vanont down into turn 1. That was nicely done by the Belgian. Albert Tam's right there as well. We'll try and get a view further back in the pack. The American, Lucas Palacio, on debut. The United States Pro Kart Series winner, just 9 years of age. There he is in the background, up into an incredible P7. He's just got by Nicola Perico as Sebastian makes a move into the lakeside hairpin, and he takes Leo. There is Alexander in P4. Gorski gets him back. The leading trio, it will be a fight between 6. In just a moment, Gorski on the inside, Sebastian around the outside. Legenki stares over his shoulder as Gorski tries to put the Australian into the grass. Sebastian tolerates 0 of that, and the Queenslander back into position 1. Gorski slams it down the inside into turn 1, and the pole sitter is back into the race lead. Now it's kicking off. That leading trio becomes a fight between 6. Gorski, there's Legenki, Eskandari, Albert Tam, Vanont, the championship leader, remember, just ahead of Michele Orlando, who won 2 weeks ago at Cremona. Watch Sebastian down into the lakeside hairpin. Just pushes Legenki, runs up over the back of the Ukrainian, loses a position, lucky to still keep it on the circuit. As now Albert Tam in P3, Team Baby Race in first and third place. In first and fourth places because Orlando takes him. Now Eskandari's right there. There is Vanont in the tap, pushes the Tony Kart. Knows how to race, does the Belgian, has won already multiple times, including the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series on the first weekend of February. He is the championship leader. He won the first round of the Open Series, but he's just been pushed back into position 6. Right behind him now is Nicola Perico. Fabulous racing in the under-10 pre-final. Lucas Palacio is flying. The American on debut is mixing it with the leaders in the under-10 mini pre-final in round 3 of the WSK Open Series. The pole who started from pole, Leo Gorski, has now got a lead of 0.9 of a second. Alex Malota, meanwhile, from the back of the grid, the Slovakian for the Firefly Racing Team, is rocketing around the circuit of 54.270. He started grid 24. The Slovakian is now up into position 9. What a drive from Malota. We'll get a glimpse of him in just a moment. Alex Malota, the EKS kart 561 from the 12th row of the grid, is now up inside the top 10. There's Orlando in the Formula K kart, middle of the screen. Behind Legenki, 0.8 of a second. The gap between the pole sitter, who leads the race on this, the penultimate lap, Leo Gorski from Poland in the east of Europe, and Legenki, also an Eastern European, the Ukrainian P2. Orlando in the Formula K kart, P3. Last lap board this time round here at Castelletto di Branduzzo, the first of our 5 pre-finals. The gap, 0.9 of a second, 0.8 of a second. It's down to half a second as Legenki goes purple with a 54.250. There was Malotta going through ahead of Waltz. Kumpens back to 12 ahead of Ray Lazzaro. Maximus Un up into P15 ahead of Mark Lumitz, who's come from 26th on the grid to just be behind Xavier Lazzaro in 15th place. Last lap now of the mini under 10 pre-final Team Baby race. P1 Legenki for Team Driver in P2, and the Cremona race winner Michele Orlando in the Formula K car in third place. They won't catch the pole though. He exits the infield hairpin, 2 corners remaining, looks over his left shoulder. He will win the pre-final here under brakes. Accelerates the checkered flag, and the pole, who started from pole position, wins the pre-final for the 60 mini under 10 category. Legenki P2, Orlando P3. What a drive from Lucas! Palacio P4 with the fastest lap of the race as well, a 54.233. The American on debut in WSK has beaten home the championship leader coming from grid 12. He takes Venant on the last lap of the race and finishes an incredible P4. Then it was Venant, Petticoat P6. Gorski, he did it the hard way, started from pole position, fell back to 5th early on before reasserting himself in the top spot, and he wins the pre-final. And he's looking good to start the final from pole position later today here at this picturesque Pista Sette Laghi, Castelletto di Branduzzo. Leo Gorski takes the victory from Legenki. Michele Orlando, P3, the Cremona race winner. What about Lucas Palacio, the driver from Washington, D.C. in the United States of America, P4 on debut in WSK. Then it's Venant, the championship leader. Head of Petticoat, Sebastian Escandari, Alessandro Trusciò, Albert Hamann, Alex Malotta, P10 from grid 24. Waltz, Ray, Maximus Un, good drive from the Swede. Lazzaro, Lumet, Colucci, Robinson, Nikita Botte, Enya Pezzuto and John Hahn. Ravelli, Tiberius Muller, another WSK debutant, is the German in the Maranello, head of Roland Nage, Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio, Diar Islami, Sophie Guth, Yunupa, TDF, that's the Roman Davide Di Filippo, Danila Verba, Prozzo, Daniel Hakkinen, Didier Croft, and a few moments ago at walking pace. We are underway on a beautiful morning here. Great to have your company at Castelletto di Branduzzo. We're back here for the first time since 2019. It is a very picturesque circuit, Sette Laghi, which in English literally translates to the circuit of 7 lakes. Because as you can see, we're surrounded by, well, 7 lakes. The 60 mini under 10 pre-final will take a very short break. Pre-final A for the 60 mini group 3 class. That is the original 60 mini category. In just a moment, you're watching us live. Round 3 of the WSK Open Series from Castelletto di Branduzzo. Back here at Castelletto di Branduzzo for the second pre-final here this morning. The sun is shining. It is a glorious day. We're expecting a top temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. A far cry from the WSK Champions Cup on the 29th of January. It was 2 below freezing. Ice on the circuit there was, which wrote off a few karts in morning practice on the Thursday. So 3 or 4 months ago now. No chance of that here this morning as we get ready for the second pre-final. And the green flag is about to wave. In fact, it does so now when the karts come out onto the grid, being led by Bogdan Cosmo Christopher, who of course won 2 weeks ago at Cremona. Ten laps, just over 12 kilometres, the pre-final here this morning. We'll take a look at the grid for you. As BCC, the Cremona race winner and second in the championship as well, leads the field out.